Okay, so before we get into the core content of the course and start talking niches, app ideas, organization, productivity, outsourcing, ASO, marketing, and all the other great, amazing things, I want to first talk about what your strategy should be. Now, some of these will be covered again later in the course, but I think it is important to mention it now so you start getting into the mindset needed in order to reach your target. I also want to mention that the best thing about the strategy that I will teach you is that not a lot of people are really doing it yet. I have developed this method after nearly 2 years of failures, research, investment, and finally success. I don't personally know any developer that is doing what I'm doing and no one that makes the money that I make, without counting the people that I have trained, of course. And I do know a few developers, so it really is a great chance to jump the gun on most people and start making money and getting experience before the market gets saturated with people following the same strategy. I like to think that this is somewhat similar to how developers in the early stage of the App Store felt, making profit because not a lot of people were developing apps yet. The window is still open now, so get on it while you can. I do honestly think that it will remain open for a few years to come, seeing as how the app stores have evolved and are predicted to evolve in the future. So let's look at the strategy. The first part of the strategy is to upload many apps. Many. The more apps you upload, the better. We're going to focus on quantity rather than quality, which does not mean that you need to make crappy apps. It just means that we will focus most of our energy in making more rather than polishing them out. Think about this. If you can choose between one good app that will make you $1,000 or 3 decent apps that will give you $500 each, which one would you choose? I hope it's the one with 3 apps because you end up making more money, and that's the one we'll learn about. One of the best ways to upload many apps without spending too much energy is to reskin apps. Reskinning an app, for those of you who don't know what it means, is to take one app and change the graphics without altering the gameplay, assuming it's a game, in order to make a different looking app. Now, some examples of reskinning can be these ones. For example, these apps, they're all uploaded by the same person. They all have the same gameplay, but they look very different. They appeal different people and, they are very easy to make. It's the same situation here. The same person uploaded them. They have the same gameplay, but they have different graphics, and so they look very differently. They also appeal different people. We have some trivia apps here that you can also use. Same person, same story. They are different topics. All they do with these trivia apps is change the topic of the quiz. And they don't need to be games. You could also have some fitness apps. In here you can see that, all the icons are very similar, and the way to use the apps also doesn't change much. These apps, the code would be very similar between them and would not take a long time to just change from one to the next. Now, I know a lot of people, especially developers such as myself, have mixed feelings about reskinning. After all, you're not creating anything new and exciting, you're just uploading a bunch of rehashes of the same thing. That's not the honorable thing to do. And well, even though I do respect that mentality, I think it's a lot harder to make money with apps by creating something entirely new every time. You actually need to spend a lot of energy and resources, as well as to get lucky, in order to do it. It's a lot easier to make a reasonable amount of money by following this strategy. But maybe look at it this way. If what you want is to make a really amazing app that will take you 2 months to finish, why don't you just first follow this strategy from the course and start making some passive income? Once you have that, you don't have to worry about bills or other payments, and you can spend your time making your app. That's kind of what I did. Right now I spend about 10 hours or less every week on my app business, and I still make $6,000 a month. And now I can just focus on other personal projects that I have been wanting to do for a while.